Ye, this is Point Black, coming in hard and off the car, coming with the flow straight from the barrel, and coming with the heat from the damn street. This is PBNN Point Black National News, delayed in the great edition, and the ghetto edition as well. We coming with the heat from the street, the flow from the barrio, and we coming straight to the chest with the boom bit. You know what I'm saying? With the facts to crack backs and the boom bit to the lying ass lips. And achieving these wickedness, as we see they do, because this is the late and the great edition, and the ghetto edition as well. You know what I'm saying? Now today, before we proceed, I'd like to say a few things. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things I'm beginning to notice is the mind frame of people when it comes to religion. This is something that we must start to look at in all ways. You know what I'm saying? Because many of the people who claim to be following a God or this and that always seem to be very pushy in its ways as to pushing their ideology into the mind frame of people. And then when the people say that they don't believe it or want anything to really do with it, they get upset with you as if their religion is all their religion or God is everybody's God no matter what you say. You see what I'm saying? But when you ask them to state facts, they jump quick to say, I know. But how do you know when you was just born just like me? I'm probably older than many of you who seem to have this ideology still stuck in your head. And you say that you know. You wasn't born that much more before me or after me, whatever you want to choose. How do you know? And how can you prove it? And then you keep telling me, I know. Then when I state my position, the first thing you say out your damn mouth is some bullshit like, you know what I'm saying, oh, somebody told you that, or somebody told you that, or you heard that somewhere, and somebody told you, and somebody told you, and all that bull garbage nonsense. But the question to most of these people is the same answer. The same question you asked me is the same question that must be asked to you because that is the answer when it comes to you. In other words, you're asking me, where did I hear that? Did somebody tell me that? Well, who told you about God and this Bible fake ass book? Is the question. So you asked me and said that I heard it here, I heard it there, that you did the same thing. Your parents told you, and their parents before them told them. So when it comes to you, you were told the same thing. So who told you that? Is the question you must answer rather than ask someone else in their scientific understanding of what's going on to be a part of something that is garbage, wicked, violent, and a force upon the people because you know they don't have the right armaments to run your wicked ass. So you invade with all kinds of weapons of mass destruction and want us to believe that you were right. So when we look at this situation in Israel, let's take a look. It says in Israel, Lincoln look to planning for as a post-war Gaza as bombardment fighting continues to rage. Why is there a fighting going on in Gaza in the first place? This is due to a fake religion, a fake setup, just like they did with COVID 19, and a setup to make you believe that something is true when it is not. It is all based on the violence and the murderous heart of these wicked beasts. And that's it. Whether you want to call it beast, man, whatever the hell you want to call it ain't the same as human men who see life in its greatness. Let's just be honest. You know what I'm saying? So we know there is a lot of hacking going on and people trying to listen in. Well, you better. You're flying idiots. But we see the Secretary Blinken held talks on Israel on Tuesday as he seeks to plan for Gaza post-war future while Israel military push ahead with the offensive in a belligerent or whatever they want to call it territory. They need to get the hell out. Israel doesn't belong there. Let's just be honest. You have driven an apartheid movement to using scriptural book and lying to the people for over 45, 75, maybe 80 years of straight lying. And you want to now use that and hope that it sink into the minds of the people to believe that Israel is actually a state in Egypt, or what we call Giza Gaza or whatever. Now you sitting there bombarding the people using American weapons and British weapons and all type of weapons from other people based on the fact that you are saying that you are the chosen people. You are not. Sad to say it, but Israel is a fake, and it is not the chosen people. It's a group of wicked people who came up with a fake religion, a fake book, a fake writing of a name, and creating this book in order for them to invade Egypt, Africa, on a so-called legality level in people's minds. The only way to do that is to lie, and that is what has happened. Because we see now heavy bombardment and fighting shook refugee camps. What does a refugee has to do with your religion? What does it has to do at all? Is the question. You know what I'm saying? So while people are sitting there hacking, jacking, and racking, you still haven't shown me no instance. Because even when we look at shaking the camps, sending Palestinians scrambling to find safety and, and hampering aid groups, you know what I'm saying, efforts to get relief to the population. So now we are looking at you trying to present this religious aspect that you have the right to murder anybody on the planet under this, to me, Zionist type religion and rename it Israel and come up with some fake scripture to justify your murder and killing of people on planet Earth. And when people say anything about it, you have a different ideology as to you're right and we're not. We're supposed to not say anything against your invasion of our mentality. So Blinken arrived in Israel after saying he had secured, commitments, you know what I'm saying, commitments from four Arab nations and Turkey to you. But all the people that you mentioned, Arab, Turkey, and all, they really don't belong in Africa. I'm still saying it today. You're invaders, most of y'all. So when we look at it, even Turkey with the Ottoman Turks, who went in there and there destroyed Egypt, to me even more further than even many of them, because y'all were digging up Africans and different and putting them on display, and Egyptians disrespecting the cradle of the very land. You see, this is what the wicked do. And then try to come in and invade and rename it and all of this while they're reading and scraping and scratching for every nickel and dime like fucking little banshees in the fucking woods running naked as cavemen. You know what I'm saying? So we don't see any justification in none of the group that you're calling on. Because if that was true, there would be no fighting there. Period. Let's just be honest. So while we're looking at this situation, you know what I mean? While we're looking at this situation, We see that. We see that. You know what I'm saying? So there is no matter in what they seem to think that is going to change things at all. It is not. You know what I'm saying? This remains an invasion and want to take over that region in Africa and so forth on. For a group of people to sit there and talk about how Africans are this and Africans are that, it goes to show that you are very ignoramus and ignorant in many ways, and possibly, and more likely, and definitely, you're going to die a fool. Yeah, I don't care how much riches you got and what you sit on top of. You're still a slave because you serve. So you're a slave, and then what you serve does not speak for you in itself. What it speaks for is that you're a slave and you're going to die a fucking fool. You don't really care because you figure I'm rich and everybody's poor. But at least the poor and the free thinking mind people are free. So we know that you're a slave because you will carry out this type of destruction under fakeism, lionism, and wicked ideologies that has no bearing on life nor human life in itself other than bloody guts and murder. So, what do you say? Hmm? Hmm? In more ways than one, we must now challenge the status quo. Why must one follow one's other religion? How did black people get to that point to deny their own God to accept others? Whether the God theory is true or not is not the point. The point is, if one culture is one culture, that must be what it is. Because if your culture is your culture, you cannot accept other cultures and denounce completely or destroy your own for them. You see? And there's a lot of Negroes, dumb clockhead, lead brain, knucklehead idiots that seem to think that they can get past that. No matter if they spy or not, you need this education in your mother. You can ask anyway. They want to be white when they are black. They'll even want blue eyes. They'll want to do everything they possibly can. And when you speak to them, it's some of the most idiotic people you've ever spoken to. Because in their mind and the sickness that was put into their mind, on top of them being sick already, probably damaged at birth, that they grow up. And when they grow up, they bring the same bullshit. So we know a lot of this is by design. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Even when we look at Blinken, they arrive over there. We arrive over there for Blinken should be over there ending this shit. And I asked for a ceasefire, and you talking about the Arab nation, the Turks, and the Ottoman Turks, and the traitor ass Moors, black niggers, who helped them to invade and kill all day and there, every African in the region. And then they make fun of you, you dumb, stupid idiot. You know what I mean? The Moors should be ashamed of themselves. To me, all you led was a path of garbage and destruction in the betrayal of your own people. Now I'm wondering if you are. But if you see Blinken goes over the guy after the war, you know what I'm saying, something they'd be reluctant to promise before a stop in fighting. But the U.S., you know what I'm saying, and Israel remains deeply divided over the Gaza. We ain't got time for deeply divided. Pocket, what the fuck is you deeply divided about your lying stupid ass? We don't need you to do that. Because ain't near one of us was born with a book stuck to our ass. Ain't near one of us. is going to see it that way. There is no way. There is no way. There is no way we're going to see it that way. You know what I mean? At the same time, we see the same thing every time. So we know there is a destructive path. So the question is what it is that they're in there doing. Let's just be honest. What it is that they're in there doing in all these is what we must ask. We don't have time to sit here running around because, like I said, they're divided over over Gaza. You know what I'm saying? Will be run when and if it current Hamas rulers are defeated. Why? Okay. So when you say Hamas and these people, you are not just killing Hamas. You're killing the Palestinian people, according to the Palestinians. You know what I'm saying? Talking about when they're defeated. You probably created Hamas so you can do this shit in Africa because you know you don't belong there because you're living off the pretense of a fake religion that said that you are ruler and everyone else is not. And your followers, according to these black idiots and many other people, don't want to hear nobody else's story but this bullshit story. How the fuck you got that into people's head? I don't know. Nor do I care. Because like they said, if you find a jackass, ride it. You know what I'm saying? You find a donkey, ride it. Because many people are that. When it comes to religion, when it comes to the truth, none of them have any concrete proof. The only proof they have is a story that was told to them to put them in a dream. And that's it. So how do we know that you did not create Hamas and these different terrorist groups like ISIS as well? You know what I'm saying? And talking about when they defeat, you destroying the Palestinian people. And he asked the Palestinian authorities, which are currently governing the parts of Israel, occupied West Bank, to take over in the Gaza, in Gaza, and for a negotiation to resume on the creation of a Palestine state. So how did Israel get a state when they're not real or they're fake and they're invader and occupiers? Talking about some West Bank. West from what? What are they doing in Israel? I mean, saying they're Israelis in the West Bank of Egypt or Egypt itself, invaders going all the way back to probably 1930 something. When you pull this groove on people's brains, and then you want to say that they asking you and the Palestinians to come to some agreement. The agreement should have been met a long time ago. 75 years till you get to this point? 75 years? Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so you're asking the people to negotiate in this situation in all ways. That's what you're asking the people to do. But the negotiation should have been done a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? If there was to be a peace in that region. But all invaders seem to be now coming to a head when it comes to this bull. You know what I'm saying? Now we see here where Blinken also is trying to prevent the conflict from spreading after an escalation in fighting between the invaders and Hezbollah, probably another group, same thing. What are they doing in that region? All of y'all do not really belong there. You are fighting over land, stolen land, really, that don't belong to you. Do you see what I'm saying? And making people believe that you're the original people of the region or of the land. And you're the one who created everything that you see there and have been there for years. You Arabs have done the same thing. And the Ottoman Turks too as well. And even allowed Americans and different people to come in Africa and raid and rob and steal for over 30, back going back to the 1930s and even before. You were doing this garbage. So what are you talking about? But yet still, you want the whole world to believe in some fake religion, using a fake name, fake and setting up state and all this and invading and occupying. You and the rest of y'all, and many of your other groups, for us to believe that this is right, the spreading and all this different Hezbollah and all this thing been carrying on for years. You are plaguing the world with garbage. You have been plaguing the goddamn world, goddamn, not God, goddamn world for so long. And you have not come with one other. You know why? Because you continue to keep these old fucking farts in government. You continue to keep the same old group of people in government who sit there and marinate for years and years and many policies and decisions and orders and executive orders to where they manipulate the fucking law against the fucking common people. Even creating religions and all type of psychological garbage in order to justify the garbage that they're doing on this planet Earth. And there must not be no rejection to their lies or their garbage. You know what I'm saying? Talking about some Hezbollah and the threats by Israel to step up military action. They should be removed. What the hell are you talking about? Step up any action. And those of you in Sudan, you should be removed. Where is the black people standing up? You with them hip hop rappers signing contracts and talking about we got one more year and all that piece of shit and sucking balls and blood and all kinds of garbage? Hmm? Or with the rock and roll, whatever you want to call it, the evilness and all that bullshit. You're a slave. And this is why this continues. Because the people of the world has come to a point where their brains are shot and they want us to go along with it. When we say so, you want to argue us to the point where you think that you psychologically talk our brains out of our fucking head to believe the bullshit that you talking about or the bullshit that you claim you believe. Then you want to challenge every one of my scientific facts, but when it comes to challenging yours, you don't want a challenge. You better get out of my face with this piece of garbage mentality that you'll have. I don't believe none of your gods. I don't believe none of it. And I want no part of it. I don't give a damn where the hell you stole it from and remixed it. If you stole it and remixed it, why must I follow it? It is not mine anymore. Mine is the original, yours is fake as fuck. And this is why you do what you do. This is how you get away with what you get away with. And then you brainwash the world and the people into believing that shit over generations and time. Just like I had an argument not too long ago with this individual, you know what I'm saying? And a female, at that, black, and not to be any prejudice, because it could have been white, it could have been Arab, it could have been anybody, because the argument was still the same. Now, when I told her that I don't believe in your God, you know the first thing she asked me? Am I an atheist? What kind of piece of garbage bullshit question is that? You know this next thing she asked me? Am I Muslim? What kind of bullshit question is that? Then you ask me, am I Rasta? What kind of bullshit question is that? Then you ask me all kinds of questions, and then when I still say I still don't follow it, you try to convince me. I'm telling you that I know, but I'm not telling you that. I'm just telling you I don't follow that. And my belief is a personal belief, or my followance of anything to do with understanding, anything to do with things, is my way of path of rite of passage. Is my right, my personal overstanding. And so then she talk about overstanding. That's what I said. No, when we say understanding, it means that you're still trying to believe something. So you just understood what they told you, but you're not really, to the point of overstanding it. To the point where you could say, okay, now I don't know it all, but I know this and I know that. Now I can move on to looking into more deeper understanding in its matter, to the point where I can now see more facts on top of facts on top of facts. You know what I'm saying? That would lead to somewhere. One cannot just lead himself to someone else. As we see, the actions must be of a people, of an understanding of yourself. In each one of us, that collective is important. We cannot all be on the same mentality, bull, carnage, bullshit, rather than a collective of free thinkers who are on the same rule based on prosperity, economical status, strength, health, wealth, all that, to make all the people in its nation and itself be prosperitable and able to have a free thinking mind. You know what I'm saying? Because what has happened is the free thinking mind has been corrupted by garbage. This is why a lot of Negroes is running around here want to be something they're not. They're an idiot. A log nut, blockhead, wide head, baseball looking wide head, an idiot. And they have no mentality outside of that. This must stop. This must stop in itself. So we have to start finding ways to find things more better and more stronger. So